the state level, Governor J.B. Pritzker has proposed cutting about a third of Illinois' cover crop funding. Illinois is one of the leading states for farm fertilizer runoff, which studies show is worsening. So 6 years ago, Illinois became the second state in the nation to offer subsidies to farmers who plant cover crops in the fall. Cover crops help slow down runoff. This year, Illinois' cover crop program sold out its available funds in just 2 hours. It is one of several programs facing cuts ahead of this year's state budget. But what else have your elected officials been up to? For that, we turn to Peter Hancock with Capital News, Illinois. All right, Peter, let's start with some health funding. The Trump administration is set to block about $477 million in healthcare funding to Illinois. We're talking things like disease prevention, mental health and substance abuse funding. I mean, what's going on here?
It seems like almost every day we wake up and we find out that there is some other set of funding that the administration is withholding from Illinois. It seems to be part of, just kind of a drastic redefinition of the relationship between the federal government and state governments. But right now, the Pritzker administration, Governor Pritzker in Illinois, is very concerned about the fact that all told, it's about $400 million. I think maybe $125 million is money that the Department of Public Health was counting on for right now, and then additional money that they were counting on in the future. And part of it has to do with infectious disease tracking, the ability to monitor where outbreaks are occurring. And that's especially concerning right now as a lot of other states are going through measles outbreaks. So there's a lot of concern about the department's ability to stay on top of these things in the midst of these funding cuts. In the meantime, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul has numerous lawsuits against the Trump administration in which he's trying to block certain actions, including the withholding of funds from Illinois.
Well, let's talk about those lawsuits, because another one has to do with education. Illinois joined a multi-state lawsuit over the dismantling of the Department of Education at a federal level. So what's happening here?
Well, the latest on that, of course, you've probably heard that the Trump administration is planning to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education, which has been around since the Jimmy Carter administration. That would take an actual act of Congress in order to do that. But in the meantime, he's shifting certain functions out of that department and sending them to other federal agencies. The student loan processing for higher education students is being shifted over to the Small Business Administration, and special education services that the federal government runs are being shifted over to Health and Human Services, which is now run by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who just announced recently that he's implementing some massive downsizing and staff reductions at that agency. So there's a lot of concern about not only who's in charge of these programs, but whether or not the programs are going to be administered at all going forward.
Well, Peter, before I let you go, I want to bring it back to the state level, and let's talk about some redistricting. I mean, House Republican leader Toni McCombie is from our viewing area. She's up in Savannah. Earlier this year, she asked the state Supreme Court to get rid of Illinois' legislative maps. I mean, these maps determine who votes in which districts, but there's a timeliness argument here. So what are both sides saying?
Yeah, there's a timeliness issue because the maps were drawn in 2021. They're almost half a decade old now. They went through a federal court challenge when various groups were claiming that they diluted minority voting power, specifically in the Chicago and the Metro East regions. This is a different one. This is claiming that there is partisan gerrymandering, which is not necessarily illegal under federal law, but there is state precedent in state courts against partisan gerrymandering. So House Republicans are asking the Illinois Supreme Court to take this up. It's one of those few areas of law where you can go straight to the Supreme Court without having to go through circuit courts and appellate courts first.
I mean, what are Democrats saying? Like you said, it's been years since these maps got put in place. We've already had several elections with them.
Yeah, we've had two elections, and the Democrats are saying, look, if you had a problem with the maps, you should have brought this up at the time. This is now, you can't sit on a potential lawsuit like that and just bring it out at the most inconvenient time. Whereas Republicans in their suit are saying we had to get new data to see how these maps work, and over the course of two election cycles, we now have the data to show that they are gerrymandered illegally in a partisan fashion to favor Democrats.
We'll have to wait and see what the Supreme Court says. Peter, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
As always, you guys at home can check out any of Capitol News Illinois' reporting by going to WQAD.com and clicking on the As Seen on TV tab.